Hello and welcome. This is Relationship 101 session. Is this the session that you want to be a part of? Okay, great. My name is Dr. K.O. How are you doing today? That's great. Before we start, I'm going to make me a cup of tea. Would you be interested in any? Yes, we do have water. Okay. Would Fiji water be okay? Perfect. Here you go. I just love tea so much. Something about it just provides so much comfort. Anyways, now you have your drink, I have my drink. Now we can start. So please have a seat anywhere you like. You can have a seat in the chair or in the sofa. The sofa is very comfortable and very comfy and cozy if you want to get extra comfortable. It's really up to you. Great. So, before I begin and start, please tell me, how are you doing and what brings you in today? I understand. That is very common. Very, very common. Relationships are not an easy thing. Whether they are with a spouse, whether they are with a family member, with a friend, a human being, it's never easy. Each individual is unique. They all have their own different personalities. Everyone has their own way of reasoning, their own way of thinking. So you're not always going to be on the same page. So relationships can be pretty tricky and challenging for the most part. And if you are able to overcome those obstacles, both parties that are involved in the relationship, then the relationship tends to become stronger and long lasting. A lot of people, relationships for the most part, for a lot of people, do not last. People end up having to leave one relationship and maybe later on down the line having to enter into another relationship for numerous reasons. Sometimes people can outgrow each other, or they can come across obstacles that they cannot overcome with the individual. For example, if you have a partner and they step out on you, if the relationship is a monogamous relationship and your partner steps out on you and has relations with someone else other than yourself behind your back without your knowledge, and they do it in a way where it's sneaky and they're not trying to let you know because they know what they're doing is wrong, that is an act of betrayal. It is an act of cheating. in these situations, it is hurtful for the other person who is the partner who is being faithful and loyal when the other partner isn't. So a big level of trust is betrayed. And when you're in a relationship, in a situation like that, whether it's a relationship, a marriage, or friendship, or whatever, and that happens, for a lot of people, that is very hard, because it brings on a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, and not everyone knows how to deal with that. And to think of being able to move forward in that type of situation, it's harder for them, because now they feel that they lost the trust. And without trust, you don't really have much in a relationship, because now there's always going to be doubts, there's always going to be thoughts, maybe some overthinking. Now you're going to question everything that your partner is doing, where they're going, and time, place, and everything. And now you're going to constantly be worrying yourself. Anxiety starts to build, and now you've become this new version of yourself in the relationship that you probably once wasn't. And because of that, it makes you unhappy, it makes you depressed, and a number of other emotions. So I said that to say, in cases like that, a lot of times people will not take their partner back after they betrayed them. They will break up with them and try their best to move forward in life, because, like I mentioned before, once the trust is broken, it's very, very hard to regain that trust for a lot of people. So a lot of people think it's best to just move on and maybe start fresh somewhere else. Maybe not right away, because you do want to allow yourself time to heal, and you have to allow what has taken place to affect you. You have to go through the emotions. You have to go through the withdrawals. You have to go through the tough parts in order to overcome it, or in order to handle it in a better way. A lot of people, they don't want to face their dilemmas or their problems. They tend to want to, they tend to want to be distracted by other things. So rather that is to party, or to maybe start taking drugs, drink alcohol, get a little buzz in them to help their mind get away from that type of thinking of the situation. Sometimes they'll quickly jump into another relationship, or some type of relations with another person, in hopes that it will help them to not think about the other person and what had taken place. But all of those things are temporarily just distractions, because if you do not let yourself properly heal, you will never heal. So those things are not the ideal things to do or to get yourself involved in if you want to properly move forward from a situation or relationship as such. So I'm sorry, I'm over here rambling. As a therapist, this is something that I am very passionate about, and I do have a lot of my patients or my clients. They have similar situations, and I just always like to help people and guide them with the important information that I feel that they need. Because sometimes people are lost, and when you're actually in the situation, your judgment, your mind gets clouded because you're too deeply invested in your emotions. You're not really thinking clearly. So it is very nice to have someone to talk to. Friends, support groups are usually good. Therapists, someone with professional expertise that has handled a lot of these type of situations with several other people, and that's why I'm very happy that you are here today to get a better grasp on the situation at hand. And I admire you for being here and taking that step. A lot of people, they don't do that. Everyone thinks, well, not everyone, but some people think that they can handle it on their own and it's not a big deal until it becomes a big deal. And the sooner you can get help, the better it is for you. You don't want to prolong things, it's your life, so why not live it the best and not have to worry too much about things that you don't need to be wasting your time and energy on for too long. So yes, so again, thank you so much for being here. So please tell me more about the situation. Well, I want to say that I'm sorry that happened and that you feel that way. No one should have to feel what you're feeling. And I completely understand. We have all been there in some way, in some shape, in some form. So I share with you your emotions. You are not alone. I'm here with you. I'm not here to judge you. We are human beings, and we are human beings and we make mistakes. And the best part of life is to learn from those mistakes. No one is born and goes straight into life from birth all the way up until adulthood and knows everything and has everything perfectly done. That does not exist. We are designed to be inexperienced. We are designed to be somewhat gullible and naive. And with life and its experiences, we learn. And this is what makes us not as naive and gullible. And when we make mistakes, we learn from them. A lot of people are hands-on, first-person experience type of individuals. They don't necessarily want to be told what to do and what not to do. They want to actually take the action of making the mistake so that they can feel what it feels like to have been in that situation to actually learn, I don't like how this feels, and I don't want this to happen again, so I'm going to operate in such a manner to not allow it to happen again. So a lot of people are like that. They do have to experience it. They do have to experience it in order to properly learn from it. A lot of people, they don't learn that way. A lot of people, they have to learn that way. Because even if you are to try to show them the ropes, try to give them an example or to be that example, a lot of people, they think, oh, that will not happen to me, until it happens to them. So, again, like I said, a lot of these experiences have to be done first-hand experience. So, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. No one should be judging anyone. Because at the end of the day, we're not perfect. So I'm not here to judge you. You are free to tell me your deepest thoughts, emotions, whatever it is that you want to let out and to vent and to share with me. That is totally welcome here. Again, this is a judge-free zone. You will not be judged. And emotions are welcome. Let it out, cry. If you need to shout and yell, do so. Again, everything here is for your comfort. You have the sofa, you have the chair, you have your drink. Just relax. Get, yourself unwind and just be yourself. Because the sooner we can get to the core of the problem, the sooner we can resolve the problem. Okay, good. Now, from what you was telling me, let me just take a quick look at my paperwork, my notes. I've done this session multiple times with groups, couples, individuals. It differs. So I just want to make sure that I am touching all the primary bases that I think will help you and aid you in your situation. I'm sorry, what was that? Absolutely. Totally, 100%. And that happens a lot. People always think that a lot of insecurities come from other people. It doesn't really come from us. When we're born, we don't really see. Everything is the same to us. It's not until other people put things into perspective that we start to now alter our minds to think and feel a certain way. We start to see things differently. We start to see things according to what our peers influence us to think and see. I have this theory where I believe people have, I would say, unrealistic preferences versus realistic preferences. Now, as far as relationships go, unrealistic preferences would be such as things that people are born with. They cannot necessarily change. It's a part of them. Tends to fall a lot under the superficial category of things. For example, someone will say, oh, I only want to date someone who is at least 6 feet tall. Anyone shorter than that, I don't want to date them. Or the person I want to date, they have to have blue eyes, or they have to have long curly hair, or they have to have, I don't know, like a white hair or blonde hair, or whatever it is that people find to be what they consider to be perfect. Now, these things are your features, your characteristics that you are born with, that you didn't ask to have these things. So to me, I feel like those are like unrealistic preferences as far as relationships goes, because that does not dictate if a person is going to be good for you or right for you. You cannot base a relationship based off just looks. That's superficial. Now, on the other side, as far as realistic preferences, you want to go more for things that people have more control over, like their actions, their behavior, things that they can acquire, things that they can do for themselves that can make them seem more attractive. So let's say you want someone who is ambitious. You want someone who is hardworking. You want someone who is family oriented. Maybe you want someone who's educated. These are things that pretty much anybody can get if they work, if they put in the work and the effort into these things. No one is exempt from these things outside of, anyone that has a disability. But for the most part, most people have the opportunity and ability to do these things. So those are what I consider to be more of a realistic preference. So in relationships, if you want a relationship to be successful and long-lasting, you want to lean more towards these type of preferences when looking for a partner. These things, even friendships, you want to look for someone who matches more so of the things you like to do. Maybe you like to play basketball. Maybe you want to look for a friend that loves to play basketball just as much as you. So you guys have that in common. And then you build a friendship based off basketball. So again, like I said, those preferences would make more sense as to how a friendship, relationship, situationship, partnership would become about and evolve. And that will have more of a long-lasting term versus something that is superficial, that's just based off just appearance and looks and things that can change over time. A lot of times people get infatuated with the exterior as far as beauty, and we all age, things change. Beauty doesn't last forever. I mean, you can be beautiful later on, but your body still changes. So these things you don't want to necessarily gravitate too heavy on. Those things are nice. Those should be more of the icing on the cake, if that just so happens to be so. But the meat, the main core, the foundation should be more of the intangible things that you can't necessarily see. Those hold heavy weight. They hold more weight in friendships, relationships. So that's what I would recommend, and that's what I notice a lot with people as far as what people look for in a relationship and friendships and stuff like that. Don't focus too much on the superficial things. Focus on the things that would be more important to have in a relationship for long-term longevity. That's going to last longer. You know, if you have someone who's ambitious and hardworking, you two can continue to grow with each other long term. That shows growth in a friendship or relationship. So that's much more desirable to have. So yes, so that's what I have for that. Is there anything else that you wanted to share? Okay. Okay. Well, this session is not a long session. It's pretty short, quick to the point. It's just meant to just touch on basis on the. It's just meant to touch on certain basis, and if there was anything that you wanted to share and get more in depth with. Okay, I'm going to give you a little packet. It's not too long, it's not too much. It should take you less than 10 minutes to complete. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it when you get home, in the comfort of your home. It's just a little behavioral test, just to get a more insight on just your thinking. It would help me to help you. So the next time you come back, if you come back to the session or the next session, as far as the relationship session 102, yes, that will be helpful. Okay, so as far as everything else, unless you have any questions or any other concerns. Okay, great. Well, you have my number, you know how to reach me, and you can book your next appointment with me as well at the front desk. Well, it was very nice meeting you, and you don't have to rush out. You can stay for a little bit, unwind. If you want to look at the packet that I'm going to give you, and you can go over it as well, that's fine. Yes, my next session is not until like 30 minutes from now, so you have a few minutes. Okay, great. It was nice seeing you. You take care.